What up, everybody? Hey, welcome, and you know I'm going to say it. Welcome to another Moving the Military podcast. Hey, I'm your co-host, Matt Grudel, and as I am every single week, I'm with the other co-founder of Moving the Military and the co-host, the hostess with the mostest, Dina. And Dina, I just want to start today's podcast because I'm going to say it, man. You got some lighting going. You got some lighting going on, and your hair is herring today, like. Chef's kiss. I don't know what you got going on over there, but whatever you have going on, keep that glow, my friend.
Just mess with it. Thank you. It's I don't know whose hair this used to belong to, but until about right here, it's mine. The rest was purchased, and it is definitely, somebody texted me the other day and they're like, "You, I think, have found the perfect hair color for your skin tone." So I think at almost 40, I have finally figured out how to match my eyes and my skin and my hair. So thank you. And I'll keep paying for it so that it can keep hairing.
That's what we need to do. And so let's talk. I mean, literally, hair is herring, right? That means that you went to a specialist, right, to do your
I
hair,
did.
which is exactly what we're talking about today. Because on today's Moving the Military podcast, we're going to talk about the real, not the bullshit, not what you read, the actual real cost of not specializing in the military niche. And as we prepared for this, I wrote a few things down, and here's kind of what I wrote. I said that most agents think staying general is safer. And me and you talked a few podcasts ago about what I call ostrich marketing, just sticking your head in the sand, staying neutral, and yet neutrality just causes doubt, right? And so most agents think staying neutral is safer. More opportunity, more clients, more flexibility. That's a lie. I mean, that is absolutely a lie, because what you don't see is the cost that you're paying every single day by not specializing. And we're talking time, energy, momentum, authority. So there is an absolute cost to not specializing in the military niche.
Or in any niche,
In
really.
any
But
niche.
yeah, I do think at first it's probably safer to stay generalist, and that's just natural. You want to serve everybody. You just got your license. You think that if you don't take whoever comes your way, that you might go broke. I mean,
I'll cast a wider net and catch more fish.
yeah, all that is very normal. And if you are listening to this in your first probably year or two in business, you probably should do that, to be
Yeah.
honest. I think we earn the right to specialize, but if you've been here for a minute and you're pretty consistent with your income, it starts to cost you something. And we're going to talk about that today. So I want to segment this out so everybody listening can kind of put themselves in one bucket or the other. If you're brand new, take this for whatever nuggets you can get, but you definitely should take all business that comes your way. You have to outlast the attrition in real estate for your first couple years. But once you've been here for a while and you know what you're doing, take this and apply it. So let's get started.
Yeah, I think that you said something really cool. Like, you have to go ahead and outlast, because here's the deal: you're a commodity, right? And so you have to, like, you're going to be a commodity for a little while around price, availability, convenience, all those other things, right? Yet, as you outlast, then you can actually start specializing. And so, Dean, I think there's lots of different costs, and I want to talk about 5 real different costs, and I'm going to kind of give them to you. I'm going to bounce them to you and for you to play with a little bit. So I think one of the real costs, and we say this all the time, is the cost of invisibility. And I'm going to stop right here, because I know we say you're invisible, the cost of being an invisible agent, and so many people get pissed off and it hurts their feelings and they get insulted by it. Man, you are absolutely skilled, you are absolutely knowledgeable, yet there is a cost of invisibility, right? If you're not known for something, then you're not known at all right? And that's kind of what we mean when we say you're invisible. You're not specific to a PCS or a city. You're not specific to an area. You're not specific to a loan type. You're just kind of there. And so when you don't specialize, you have the cost of invisibility. Dive into that a little.
Okay. In any unless you're in like small town America, we'll go with like a suburban area or even major metroplex. There are so many people with a real estate license. So here in Montgomery County, I think there's 2,200 or 2,500 real estate agents. And of course, we know that not all of those people are actively working, but let's say that 2,000 of them are, that we take out the 200 people who had a license decades ago and it's just hanging around, right? And we stick with the 2000. That's a lot of people to compete with. That's a lot of people to compete with. And in our area, somewhere between 3 and 500 homes a month sell. So if you've got 2,000 people fighting over 300 transactions, that means that 1,700 people did not get paid that month. And really, it actually means more like 12 or 1,300 didn't get paid because there's two sides to every sale. But the harsh reality of real estate is that unless you are known in some way, you're actually competing with more people than there are opportunities, like fivefold. I mean, it's pretty harsh whenever you look at the numbers. In most major metros, you've got somewhere between 7 and 10,000 real estate agents. Some of them even have, like Dallas has like 16 to 18,000, I think. That's a lot of fucking people. Like
Yeah.
that's so many people and the consumer doesn't understand any of the differences between any of us because we're all saying the same thing. So then what do? They go to whoever can do it for the cheapest option because they don't know anything about you so that you look like everybody else. And when you've got most people not eating every month, people will do some savage stuff for $1. So you're competing with people. It's like a race to the bottom. Alex Hormozy talks about this. He said there's no distinct, actually, I think it was Russell Brunson. He said there's no distinct advantage for being in the middle price wise.
Yeah.
There's a distinct advantage for being the most expensive and the least expensive. And that's where most people live, is in the middle. And they're fighting with people who are charging less. And so I don't know. I think the biggest reason, number one, would be that there's too many people to actually compete with for the number of fish in the pond.
Well, and you, like I said, if you have a general message, then you actually are messaging no one, right? You're just literally diluted with everybody else. And military families, right? When we say the cost is invisibility, military families are not Googling, find a random agent near me. They're actually looking for specifics, right? Military friendly, which, I hate to say that, right? But they're looking for the specific things in that city, in that area, and those things, right? So there is the cost of invisibility, which you still being invisible, you're going to do deals, but you're not going to break through the ceiling that you actually can by showcasing that credibility of being a military specialist.
Well, and the other thing that's happening in every city, but it happens a lot in military towns, is that there's actually a ton of competition and no competition all at the same time because you've got such extremes because the communities are so transient that you have an agent that will come on the scene. They'll dominate in the military space for 3 years and then they PCS because they're a spouse. And now that leaves a big hole. Like I looked this morning and I did some chat GPTing and some research on the landscape of real estate in the military niche in Clarksville, and it's wide open. And even in the chat GPT, it says you're not competing for a lane. There's no one in the lane. And it gave me people who have 10,000 followers, 5,000 followers, so on and so forth, but literally none of them are in the military lane. All of them are on the 12-lane highway in Atlanta with you, but nobody's on that country back road where you're the only one there that people can choose from. So they're all competing for the same transactions, but there's no one in one of the largest military installation communities in the country. There's no one specialized. So that's going to change soon. But
wink, wink.
For now, there's no one in the lane.
Yeah, and so I think the first one is the cost of invisibility, and that is one of the harshest ones, and that's why I started with it. The second cost, and what I wrote down, is the cost of constant hustle. And so how I broke this down was general agents wake up every day at zero. No audience, no inbound, no momentum. So what does the generalist agent do? Every single one of you have felt it. You've all done it. Some of you makes you vomit in your mouth, but you got to chase leads, you got to buy leads, you got to cold call. You have to hope. And hope is not a freaking strategy, right? It's not. So that's not a business. That's survival, right? When you specialize in something, you actually flip that because you build magnetic demand. I'm just going to say that. You build a magnetic demand, just that people they're magnetically attracted to you, right? You start attracting business. You're not stuck in that constant hustle. So I think the second cost is the cost of constant hustle.
Yeah, every day. I used to tell people on my team this when I was building my team at Bragg, that every day they came to work, they were in the unemployment line because you are.
I love that analogy because I want you to break that down because we've said that a couple times. So when you tell someone on your team, on your real estate team, hey, I want to let you know that every day you wake up in the unemployment line, what are you actually talking about? What do you mean?
Well, what I mean is that you're actually, even if you have a pipeline of 2 or 3 clients, you're not in control of whatever choices they make. So that person could go out and buy a house, forget to pay their mortgage payment, get divorced, whatever. So you are excited because you think you have 2 people who are going to buy from you in the next 30 days, and both of them decide, never mind. Never mind. Guess what? You have no one to sell a house to. You even can get things almost all the way to closing for people to change their mind, and you are not in control of those decisions. And so, people who are out there like coaching to how in control you are of your own destiny in real estate are wrong because the only thing you can control is showing up every day like you are in the unemployment line and going and trying to find a client, find a job that actually is willing to hire you every single day. And every single day that you show up, no matter how big of a pipeline you have, if you don't show up in the unemployment line mentality, you will actually end up in the unemployment line because the 2 or 3 people you were betting on change their mind. And sometimes it happens one here and one there, and sometimes all of that shit happens in the same month, and you've got 3 months of income out the window, and now you're broke. So the reason for it is because the reality is that every day you are actually unemployed. You are self-employed in an industry that doesn't have to work with you. They could pick from the other 2,000 people. And every closing you have starts you back over at zero. And most people don't know that that's the game of real estate until it gets smacked in their face and they're having to adjust.
Well, and when you're a generalist, that just it compounds because now you're hustling everywhere. Instead of having a niche you can actually specialize and attract talent and have a specific message to, you're talking to everybody. And so it's a constant hustle to talk to every single person in every pocket of your area versus having a funneled message.
It's also confusing. I feel like it's easier to make decisions and it's easier to move and not get paralyzed when you've got some sort of a filter on what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I think the other reason that you're constantly in the hustle mentality if you don't specialize is because let's say today I showed up in the unemployment line and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to log into my laptop and I'm filling out my job. My job today is to find a job. That's essentially what we're doing. When my job today is to find a job, and 600 people this month are going to buy a house, and I don't know who any of them are. What do? I go downstairs and do dishes because I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, I don't know where to start. But when you're running down a lane, like luxury land, military in our case, you can say, okay, I don't want everybody. I want to go put content on the internet today that speaks to military families.
Put content on the internet that speaks to the people in my left and right limit in the lane that I'm running because these are my guardrails so my message doesn't just get crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you actually if you keep the unemployment thing going and you actually showed up in the unemployment line and you have never had a job before, you're applying to every job on the planet versus if you've worked in HR for a decade, you're applying to all the HR jobs, not every other job.
Man, that was probably one of the best things you've said in a while, right? Right? You say a lot of great things, but I think that really breaks it down because when you're brand new to, it doesn't matter what it is, employment, you're just applying to every job that's out there. And you're just hoping and praying and spraying that you're going to get there, right? Right? What I always say, you're shooting a shotgun at a 300-meter target, hoping something hits. But I love that. When you've been in, we'll keep it HR, when you've been in HR your entire career, and that's where your experience is, well, you're funneling HR jobs because that's where you're going to attract people that are actually going to hire you. That's where your resume, your credibility is attractive.
Well, I was going to say, it's two-way street. So you know who to apply to, and they see that your resume matches their skill set needs, and they hire you. So it's on both sides of the fence. It's like if I'm a military buyer, I see that your resume says that you're a military agent, and I'm more likely to hire you. And then I also have an easier time coming up with content. So it's easier on both sides of the street.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, let's move to number 3. Number 3, I think one of the greatest costs is the cost of low trust, right? Military clients, right? Military families, they don't just want a good agent. They want someone that understands the PCS timeline, someone that understands the differences on the VA loans, somebody that's been in their world because we talk about it all the time when you talk about authority and trust. Credibility opens the door for you. right? And so there is a cost of low trust if you don't speak their language, if they can't connect with you immediately. If you're just a generalist, when it comes to trust, you kind of start behind. Instead of walking into it with a level of trust, you walk into it zero, no trust. So there is a cost of low trust when you don't specialize.
Yeah, I wrote this down because I didn't want to interrupt, but I think the most important thing that you alluded to is military clients, because they're not from somewhere, they don't know people's reputation. So like for people who are from, let's just keep with Clarksville, for people who are actually from Clarksville that are real estate agents here, their reputation does not precede them with military side of the transactions. It does with the locals, just like everywhere else. But in a military community, your reputation can't precede you because they're not from here. They don't know somebody who knows somebody who knows you. So like the referral pathway is a little different. So the trust piece I think matters more because there has to be the perception from a total stranger that you know what you're talking about. And the only way you get that is if you show up on the internet specifically and teach those topics. Um, and it's ironic and strange that, and this is, I love this about military building trust faster, but I also find that it's strange that the most skeptical people on the planet automatically trust someone just because they heard them say something that resonates. Like,
Well, I'll give you an example. One of the things I love to do is when I say my last name, Grudel, people can never say it right. I automatically go phonetic. Golf Romeo, Uniform, India, Delta, Lima. Two reasons. One, you're going to spell it right because it ticks me off when you don't spell it right, right? Two, if you have ever served, if a member of your family is served, if you've ever heard it, we immediately connect and I have credibility with you from day one.
well, yeah, so the reason I brought that up was it's the all you have to do, and this podcast is for real estate agents, not the military community. So if you're the military community with no real estate license, ignore what I'm about to say. All you actually have to do to win online in this niche or in any niche really is create the perception of the fact that you understand. Whether you understand or not isn't really the point. It's do people believe that you do by what they see you put out on the internet. That's really it. Like that's the game.
Been in your boots, unpacked your boxes, content like that automatically builds credibility. So the third one is the cost of low trust. Number 4, you alluded to it quickly on, and then that one right there is the cost of missed referrals. The military niche, and we all know, and you know this specifically, is one of the most referral-heavy ecosystems in real estate because of the fact that we trust each other, because of the fact that we have a brotherhood, a sisterhood, right? We have camaraderie, we have culture, we have community, and so we naturally just share referral opportunities with other agents that are military in that area because 1, we want to see them grow. 2, they have a level of credibility and trust, right? And they are specialized. So the cost of not specializing and being general, it really costs you a ton of missed referrals.
Yeah, I don't even know that there's a need to explain that because I think everybody would understand. But the other reason I think there's so much pressure on the referral in a military move is because the timeline is so short that you cannot actually mess it up. Well, you can mess it up, but the stakes are high because there's no room to screw it up. You've got like I have somebody right now PCSing here. They move in a month. So if we mess this up, they're literally going to be homeless in a month because they can't just wait here and figure it out later. Like they have to go. So when they get somewhere, they have to be like housed. So I think the referral opportunity being missed is kind of a big one because there's so much pressure on if I refer this to the wrong agent and they screw it up, my client is homeless.
Yeah.
So like it's just an added pressure in the referral. People don't have like a friend of mine I was talking to this morning, he was saying that he's showing houses to somebody that every like month they fly in from Austin and they're just taking their time looking for whatever they're looking for and they go back home if they don't find it. That's not the way that this works. So
that's where the civilian market and the military market is different based on the time, the ability to shop. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. No, we have timelines, right? And that's why it's so important when you think about the cost of missed opportunities. You've got to be positioned to be specialized. You have to be positioned as the authority, as that military person, because it's not just one referral. It can turn out to be multiple referral opportunities, right? I don't want everybody on this call to think that or listening that Yeah, it's just one referral. No, if you are not positioned as the military authority, positioned as a military specialist in your area, it's not just one person, it's multiple referrals that you miss. And multiple referrals, I mean, if you just say 10 a year over a 5-year period, that's 50. That's huge business, right?
Yeah.
And that's additional repeat clients that then will speak your name in rooms that you're not in because you've already got credibility, and it's just a path backwards of what missed opportunities.
Well, in the referral, like the transaction rate is twice that of a civilian market, because in civilian markets, those transactions people only sell or move once every 7 to 10 years. In our world, people have moved 2 and 3 times during that time period. So you're not just missing a referral once every decade or so, you're missing a referral every 2 years or so, which then you're missing all of their referrals too, because inevitably, as someone leaves somewhere, they know someone going somewhere else. I mean, the lines cross so frequently. It's kind of crazy.
Well, they say this all the time. I mean, you do this. I mean, we talk about conversion all the time. 6.4% of your database is going to move. That's based off one move every 10 years. Home ownership is 64%. But that is not the statistics in the military because they're moving once every 3 to 5 years.
30%. What? Let me look this up.
And so now you have an even bigger population of military personnel in your database that are moving, that creates referral opportunities, both giving and getting.
Yeah, I was right. So just write this down. It's 33% of service members PCS every year. So every year, where in the civilian world 6% of the country moves, in the military world 33% of that populace moves every year. So you have, if you play your cards right, this is a cost I don't.
You're talking, and this is Matt, who's got an 8th grade education. You all know that, right? We're talking a third of the military installation that you are at right now. So a third of where I'm at, Fort Carson, is going to PCS this summer. They're right now getting orders. A third of where you're at in Clarksville that's a huge.
That's a ton of people.
That's a ton of people. That doesn't even count the people that are, and I'm going to say this, ETSing, retiring. No. It doesn't even count that population. And so, yeah, that you just compounded the cost of missed referrals by being a generalist.
That's the point, is like if I go, like, let's just say I get a wild hair and I decide to go to Fort Campbell to shop for groceries at the commissary on a payday weekend, which I would never do. If there are 100 people in the commissary, 33 of those people are going to move in the next 12 months.
33%, 33 of the people in line at the commissary on payday on the 1st or the 15th are moving.
Yeah, that might actually be worth going to the commissary.
I know, I was just thinking that, man. I may have to do some commissary shopping. No hit on the commissary.
You know what's funny? You could like stand in between people and just talk about real estate at the commissary, and either the person in front of you or the person behind you is going to be moving in the next year. I mean, like, how crazy is that?
That's why I tell everybody all the time, like, literally, like, I don't go through the Starbucks drive-thru anymore. I'm going to go into the Starbucks. Why? Because I'm going to ask the barista what they're doing for the day. They're going to ask me. I'm going to say something about real estate. It is not about the barista. I am not trying to. I'm literally saying it to the population, the 6.4% behind me that potentially could move. And yet now, I'm at the green bean place or whatever it is, right? The coffee place there on the post. There it is.
That coffee place over by Shriver or Peterson, that's like the bikini coffee place. It used to be, when we lived there, it was a coffee truck that they only served coffees in skimpy bikinis in the liquor store across from that Walmart on Powers. Is that the place?
I have not been there, but I will be Googling that today.
I don't know if it still exists, but it used to be in the parking lot across from the Walmart on Powers next to Shriver.
You and I both know a couple of military real estate agents in this town that I could call right now and get the data on.
Like, what's the bikini coffee place? I guarantee you, if you stand in that line, service members are behind you.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to what
Tracy might have some questions.
She might be like, Matt, man, you never go to Starbucks, man. Why are you? What is Bikini Joe's? Like, what's going on here, right? Okay,
it's an investment, baby, in our future.
That's it. Just need one deal to come from it, honey. Just one deal pays for all the coffee. You're good.
A day means that I'm getting one deal a day.
I am a specialist in coffee now, baby. All right, we digress. Let's get back on path. Okay, the fifth cost to being a generalist and not being a specialist that I really thought about was, and I wrote it down this way, the cost of stalled growth. Because here's what I realized over all the years of coaching and running a brokerage and, being an owner of a brokerage, that generalists plateau. So people that are generalists, they actually kind of plateau. And what I wrote down is, because nothing compounds. There's no clear message. There's no scalable content. There's no niche authority. So every deal happens to be a new climb. And yet the specialists, they stack their shit, right? So they stack. And what I wrote down is content builds audience. Audience builds trust. Trust builds conversion, and conversion builds referral. So that's how you break through in a specialist, because as a specialist, you don't have the same stalled growth. You don't plateau like the generalist does.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little careful with how I say this, and I mean no disrespect to anyone listening to this, but I, over the years, have seen that this is where you have somebody who's really proud of their business, and this is why I say no disrespect.
Yeah.
We're just talking about for the podcast. You have people who are super proud of their business, and they're most proud that they're only by referral. They will say this, like, I work only by referral. My whole 100% of my business is referral only. And then you're like, oh, that's awesome. How many deals a year do you do? And they're like, oh, I got 10 on lock, 12 on lock, right? Like they've got 10 or 12 deals every single year, year over year over year. So they've created predictability. They've created stagnation, though, at the same time. And the problem in this, that I've even coached a few people to in California or other markets where it got too expensive for their database to buy, is that at a certain point, the group of people who are referring you that 10 are going to age out of home ownership and stall for about 20 years or so, maybe 10, 15 if we're being conservative, where they get to the age where, like you or I am, because I'm coming into that age where I'm going to sit still until 10 years from now. Whenever we buy our forever home, we'll sit still in that for 10 to 15 to 20 years. And so that works until all of a sudden it doesn't. And those people stop referring you because their kids are too young to buy, they're too old to buy, and they get stuck in this place where they're moving less frequently, and so are their friends. And so it plateaus your growth mostly because you can only squeeze so much juice out of the orange until the orange molds and starts to die. And then those people are going into, elder care homes. Not to say you can't make a great business out of that. Many people do. And if you're,
you can absolutely have you can have a great business. But what people also don't tell you is the people that were referral only lead generated and specialized their ass off. If you look at the people that are I'm referral only, well, that person probably specialized in luxury for so long and built a huge database. They
just killed it with their database.
Yeah, they killed it. And those people are just, but like you said, eventually it's going to plateau because they're going to age out, right? And so there is that stalled growth.
There are other reasons it plateaus is because they're not, when they only are working their core database of like 200 people, they're not meeting new people to replace the ones that are coming out of the other side. So
erase and replace.
Yeah, so it looks really great, and we're very proud of all of you who can accurately say I'm 100% referral only, but I promise you, not a single one of you are making the goal monetarily that you have dreamed of. You've settled for this is enough because this is working and I understand how it works.
Yeah, you got comfortable.
Yeah,
that's what we see a lot of. A lot of generals just get comfortable, which then leads to plateau. So that's the 5 things, Dina, that I would say, hey, these are the 5 things that actually cost you, right? 5 different ways that cost you to be a generalist. What would you add? If you could add one for yourself, what would you add?
I think it costs you your certainty and your peace of mind.
Okay.
More than anything business related, because we've all talked about like so far like literal costs that associate with money. I think it costs more peace of mind than anything, because if I like back to the application example and the resume example, if I wake up every day in an industry that is more tumultuous and changes faster and you're not in control than ever before, we see more people with mental health issues and drinking problems and drug issues and like crazy things going on in their lives inside of real estate because there's nothing predictable about it. You show up every day hoping to God that somebody calls you, somebody doesn't call you with bad news, an inspection doesn't blow up a deal, a person doesn't get divorced, change their mind. Like, you're fooling yourself if you think you're in control of your financial future on a daily basis. You're just not. Like, we can't force people to buy. However, if I can show up every single day and know for sure that I know who I'm talking to, what to post, what to say, I need to, for example, I need to do a networking event in the next month. Well, who am I going to do it with? I don't know. I could do it with all of Clarksville, or I could go host it at the Starbucks on Fort Campbell at Gate 10, and there's a playground for people's kids.
Yeah.
That creates peace of mind and certainty. So I think the other thing it costs you is your sanity on a daily basis, because there's already enough going on. This doesn't have to add to it.
No, I think you're absolutely right, because you could say, it costs your headspace and timing, it costs your peace of mind, because I'll go back through it. If you feel like you're invisible, man, it creates anxiety. Why is nobody picking me? If I have to wake up every single day in survival mode and hustle, man, that adds to, my peace of mind, the detriment to it. If I feel like nobody's trusting me and I don't have a cost of trust, if I feel like, why am I not getting the referrals that everybody else is getting, right? If I feel like growth in my business is stalled, the 5 things we talk about, those things can compound definitely into your headspace, your timing, your peace of mind, your sanity. It'll cause anxiety. And a lot of people, if you think about it, they get out of the business because these costs compound so much and the weight is so heavy, they go do something else that they absolutely do not want to, because this business creates freedom, and yet freedom isn't free.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting conversation. We'll end it with that. I think we could go on forever, but
Yeah.
it's definitely worth it. It's going to feel scary, like you're cutting people off, or, keeping people out, or saying no to people. And what we're not saying is that you only work with people in the military. Like, that's not what we're actually talking about here. We're talking about how what you're known for is the military, and then people who are outside of that you still work with when they come to you, but you're not like actively trying to become known for something that is general.
Yeah. Well, there's a true cost of just being a generalist. We know that you're going to start your career, you're going to start your business, and you're going to take whatever business is there. Yet, as you grow and as you develop, I just want you to think about addition by subtraction, right? I'm going to add this niche. I'm going to specialize in this niche, and I'm going to subtract all the outline message, everything out there, and I'm going to get super focused, because there's a cost to not being a specialist. Hey, man, what a great call. We love you all. Hey, we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.